Grounded's last ever early access update is now live for everyone. The home stretch update 0.14 is out of public testing and it should be available to download right now. Restart your Xbox or your Steam to make sure you receive the update. What has the update got in it in case you've been living under a rock or maybe a fashion rock? Let me give you the lowdown. Let's go. You can now share your worlds with any of your friends. Make a copy of a world. While you go off for your dinner, school, college, work or whatever, your friends can carry on grinding resources for you or building a massive castle. You start a multiplayer world as you normally would, and then you get a chance to share your world with your friends. Now your world can be shared with up to 50 different players. Doesn't mean you can all play at the same time, but it does mean that eventually that world can be just carried on, worked on by some of your friends, no matter who's online and who isn't. It was the secret feature that was added halfway through this PTB public test branch. Check out the guides I've already done showing you how to do this. Another much requested change is that you can now create a custom game mode even before the custom game modes existed. It was a long held thing that if you didn't start a custom game mode, you weren't able to change anything with it. But even if you started just a regular creative mode or regular normal mode, you'll now be able to make it into a custom mode. Just click pause in your current game and there will be an option to go ahead and create a new custom mode. Some small but important changes. You can now turn on the power so that you can use the resource scanner at this point of the laboratories instead of having to complete the complete hedge laboratory. The haze is now a proper dungeon. When you enter it in to take on the infected ladybug, the doors will shut behind you and they've reduced the amount of enemies that are in there, or it's more tailored to what level you are. There will be more preparation for the 1.0 update, like this under construction little boot shape in the middle of the yard, as well as more work on the upper yard, but no new bugs, no new creatures until 1.0. How you upgrade armour and weapons has massively changed. No more quartzite in the game and also no more plates. They've revamped the armour and the weapon upgrade system. You still have levels 1 to 9 that you can upgrade your tools and your armour sets, but now you're going to be using two different types of rock. We've got the style rocks and we've also got tough rocks, and they both come in different tiers. You've got 3 tiers in fact. You'll be able to use the first tier of rocks that you find to upgrade your tools, weapons and armours, levels 1 to 5. Tier 2, 6 to 7, and then if you want tier 8 and 9 upgrades, you are going to need the level 3 rad stones. Now these are hard to get at the moment. In fact, all of these rocks that you're seeing, they don't respawn. But by completing the Black Ant Laboratory and the Termite Hill, you'll be able to go ahead and get the recipes for them so you can start crafting them yourself. As of right now, and until the 1.0 update, there is no recipe for the 3rd tier. So once you've found the tiniest pool of the rad rocks that are available in the game, you won't be able to go ahead and do any more upgrades until 1.0. You'll still need to make lots of globs, but it's been reduced obviously how many resources are used or changed since it no longer requires quartzite. So berry and grub plates, they should have been removed from the game, or they'll just be legacy items. They won't have any use going forward. This is to help everyone that was complaining that the grind to get your armour and tools upgraded was simply too much, or it involved way too much gathering resources instead of maybe fighting bugs. A lot of the nuggets which you get when you break open a rock and the nuggets that you'll be able to craft, they do require a mixture of bug parts and other resources. Pet gnats have finally been added to the game. After being leaked months and months ago, it's finally a reality. In fact, pets have now been made massively useful. You can access their inventory from anywhere on the map, so they basically become an extra way to store resources and items. And that goes the same for the other pets as well, like aphids and weevils. They all have that ability right now. They've also made the pets harder to kill and they won't draw as much attention to themselves from other creatures as well. Pets can still get unhappy, but they won't leave you anymore. Instead, it looks like there'll be some sort of debuff set up in the future for them. I have gone over this in separate videos, go and check them out where I list all of the patch note details. There's a brand new crafting station added to the game, the cookery. This gives you earlier access to meals instead of having to complete the Haze Laboratory. You'll find it by talking to Burgle at the actual ASL store, and it will only be 1,000 science points to buy. It will give you 2 free recipes to go ahead and start cooking with, meaning you can go ahead and start making meals to give you some buffs much earlier in the game. The oven will now just be strictly for cooking the regular stuff to make mushroom bricks and etc. There's a couple new recipes as well, spaghetti flea and tadpole loca pudding, which both give you buffs while swimming on more oxygen. And they have changed up a little bit where you get some of these recipes. Again, check out a separate video for it. But basically complete the laboratory chips and you should be able to have the option to still go and buy some of the cookbooks from the ASL store. Last few things to note, there's now an animation when you go ahead and sleep that will skip time. You'll be able to see it. There's also big changes for raids. They've made it basically a lot easier and more balanced. Depending on where you are now and what level you're at in terms of gear and items or story, you won't necessarily get as big or larger raids anymore. So no getting wiped out by 200 different spiders. And just a few extras as well. There was an interview with Adam Brennicky and Phil Spencer today, as well as Shyla at Gamescom. And they revealed not much new, but they did say that we're going to be receiving some new build pieces in the future, or build materials. I didn't say if it'd be 1.0 or some point after, but that's what Adam replied back to Phil. Confirmation once more again that 1.0, you don't have to worry about your saves being deleted or restarted. You can carry on playing on your current worlds. And that's it, the last update before Grounded goes 1.0. I've been here every single update of Grounded's life over the last 2 years. Covered the game as soon as it got announced, and I was there to give you all the news on my other channel and now here on JCraft. And I'm going to carry on doing so. I still believe Grounded's going to receive a lot of content post 1.0, and I'll be giving you all the info, any news we get about it. So go and enjoy the new content, and let's get all hyped and excited for the 1.0 release on the 27th of September. Until then, laters, rat bags.